What's good, Lion Golf Academy members and guests? Today we're going to take a little bit of a different approach, and since it's been about 40 years since I've taken my first lesson, I want to see what it's like for you guys in today's modern age. So I just went on Google, I put how do you fix a slice in golf, and it just rattled off a bunch of videos. We're going to watch a couple of these today, look at the way these instructors explain the cause and effect for a slice, and look at their tips that they want you to try and do, and we'll break it down a little bit further. But don't forget, this Sunday we analyze your golf swings in the Red Light Live. So if you wish for me to take a look at your cause and effect, explain why your swing is the way it is, send me your video face on down the line to the email below in the description. And those are a lot of fun. We're getting a good community out there, so come join us anyway. Even if you're not going to look at your swing, you can get to know more about the golf swing, cause and effect. But enough of that. Let's just start it off. We got performance golf, how to fix a slice with a driver. So let's pay attention.
What's up, guys? Brian Mogg with Performance Golf, and today I'm going to help you fix your slice with your driver. If you slice your driver, it's costing you 20 plus yards, and according to a study done by Scott Fawcett, the #1 way to shoot lower scores is to hit the golf ball further. So today we're going to fix your slice, get you hit and draw.
I'd like to see that information. Maybe I'm going to look at it and see what Scott Fawcett means by that. But my experience, the quickest way to lower your scores is to work on your short game from 75 yards and in, and build your game to get to that short game. So in other words, if you only hit the driver 200 yards, you can still build your game to that 75 yards and in, and really strengthen up to 75 yards. But yes, it does definitely help to hit it 2 to 3 clubs further. So we'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but I'm a little bit surprised to hear that.
So you can hit it further and shoot lower scores. Now, before we get into anything, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. Get us those subscribers. Let's go, baby. Let's get into it. The first thing we need to do is talk about the root cause of a slice. And the two things that cause a slice is your club path and your club face. So I got two clubs. I got this club with a T on the club face that's going to show my club face angle, and I got this hula hoop that's going to demonstrate the club path. Okay, so the club path of a slicer is going to be angled to the left. This is what a slicer's club path looks like, over the top and swinging to the left, and the club face is angled to the right of the club path. So this is what a slicer looks like coming into the ball. I'm going to do one slow motion swing.
I understand what he's trying to say. It was a little confusing when he put that little hula hoop and opened the club face up. Now keep in mind, it's also relative to the target. So I think that's what a lot of these instructors online fail to mention, is its path relative to your target. Without your target, there's no real deciding on where the path is. So you have to make sure you aimed correctly to your target, and then you can work on the path or alignment. Now you can also create a slice if your path is right of your target. So it's not necessarily always left of the target, because it's that club face path relationship. If you have a club face that is slightly more open to your path, so in other words, if you're in to out 5 degrees, but your club face is 6 degrees open, and that'll get the ball to move right as well. But I think he's talking about a majority of golfers, and yes, I see a majority of golfers where the path is left and the club face is somewhat open, and that's usually because of a lack of rotation, and that is, again, going back to the body schematic and how amateurs just don't have the flexibility required to come more into out, or they could just be suffering from some other issues.
Demonstrating a slicer, they get to the top, they swing over the top, and their club face is open. So let's get into 2 drills that's going to help you fix your club path. We're going to fix the club path before we fix the club face. So I got 2 alignment sticks for this drill. We are going to set them up in front of the golf ball here and behind the golf ball right about here. This is going to help our club path. If you see here, if I swing it over the top on the downswing, I'm going to hit this alignment stick, and then I'm going to hit this alignment stick. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up to the golf ball, we're going to hover this club, we're going to push it forwards to the right, and then we're going to take it inside and swing it inside on the downswing. So I'm going to do one really slow here, demonstrating correctly. Push it forward, swing it inside, and boom, club path is to the right. That is the first thing that we got to do so we can start to hit draws.
Okay, so it makes sense he's taking care of club path, and then he's going to work on face. Now remember, face is the number one thing that you need to worry about at impact, and it's all relative to your target. So without knowing your numbers, without knowing your path, it's very hard to take this advice and just throw it to everybody. And that's one issue I have when you start looking at these tips online, because they're just trying to throw a blanket around many people. And yes, it's going to affect people in the positive, but it's also going to ruin some people, because some people just aren't suffering from what this drill encompasses. So in other words, if you take a look at that motion they did from the top, a lot of turn is usually resulted from paths going left. And again, it could be because the turn relationship isn't correct. So if you don't turn deep enough on the way back and you try and turn on the way through, let's say you only turn your shoulders to 60 degrees. Your hands are not going to be deep enough to come from the inside. So when you do enact that turn, you will always have a path left because your rotation is just too much. So unless you understand what your turn numbers are at the top, it really doesn't make much sense to do this, because let's say you have way too much turn. It's going to be very rare if you have too much turn to have too much turn on the way back and you're going to be outside again. So this is great for education to understand path and club face, but I wouldn't necessarily run out and try this, and I would not use alignment rods. I've had students use these and snap the rods, and shards of graphite go flying everywhere. It's not a good idea. You want to just use golf balls as like a visual drill. Now, if you want to have something that you want to avoid, use a head cover on the ground. If you catch the head cover, it's not going to hurt you as much. It's not going to create some issues. It's just basically like a sock.
Okay guys, for the second drill, it's going to help get your club path more from the inside. It's called the squat drill. A slicer tends to get to the top and shoot their arms out over the top with no lateral shift towards the target. So what we're going to do for this drill, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to squat and bump into this left thigh and let our arms fall behind us, okay?
There goes that shallowing that I'm just really not a fan of for amateurs. Now, if you take a look, again, arms don't really go out on their own. They don't just start from here and you throw your hands out. They're moving out because of the turn. So the more you turn right away with your shoulders, your hands are going to go along with that shoulder turn. So I understand we're talking about getting the weight shift to the left side and squatting slightly, but it's more the shoulder tilting. So you have to, again, if you watch my analysis, you have to look at your triangle at the top and see that first move of your triangle. Sometimes if your triangle starts moving too much to the golf ball right away, that's a turn issue. So we have to reconnect the hands somehow, either increase your turn on the way back or decrease the hand motion on the way back. But it's all about staying connected. And typically, if you're not flexible enough, you break away from that connection sooner rather than later.
So you can see, rather than staying on my right side, spinning out over the top, we're going to lower, squat into this left thigh and let our arms fall, and then we're gonna turn and hit the ball. So I'm gonna hit one, slow speed, really trying to over exaggerate this feel. Up to the top, squat, turn, and hit that thing. So now I'm dropping in the slot, we're fixing that club path. The second thing we gotta do is we got to get the club face more closed, and once you get that down, you're gonna start to hit the golf ball so much further. So let's talk about the club face. There's two things that cause the club face to get open. We got our wrist angles and we have our grip. Most slicers tend to have too weak of a grip, meaning their left thumb is right on top of the shaft. People who slice it tend to have their left thumb too much down the top of the grip. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this left hand.
So I would tend to disagree with this one. Most slicers I have encountered have an extremely strong grip. Now the reason they slice is because they have learned not to release it because of that strong grip. So all of a sudden they dead hand everything and just hold it open because of their fear of releasing. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all golfers have a weak grip. And remember, when you start changing the grip, you have to change the swing as well because they work in unison. It's the chicken or the egg, which one came first? But usually grip will affect golf swing motions. You don't just have a golf swing motion and grip it according to that. When you first start the game, you grip the club, and then your swing will evolve around your grip. So if you have a strong grip, you will evolve around that strong grip. You'll learn how not to release it, so you get your tilting and turning to increase to help you hit the golf ball. If you have a weak grip, you can get away with not turning as much, so I can see why it can cause some slices, but I've seen very strong grips also cause slices more so than weak grips.
We're gonna turn it to the right. This is gonna help us close the club face. And then we're just gonna take our grip with our right hand how we normally do. From here, the club face is gonna be much more closed, and we're not gonna have to close it as much with our hands, eliminating that big slice. So I'm gonna hit one here with the stronger grip. And that was pretty good. That'll play all day, didn't slice at all. Now, there's no guarantee that strengthening the grip is going to close down the club face. And the reason for that is because we can go as strong of a grip as we want, but if we get to the top here and our left wrist works into this cupped or extended position, you can see the club face opens, and if it stays there, it's going to remain open on the downswing until impact. So we've got to get this left wrist more bowed in the way.
Ooh, that's scary too. So bowing and cupping, I think there's another misconception out there that bowing and cupping open and close the club face. They do not. They increase loft and decrease loft. So let me get my club out here. This is a fake old club, so I'm going to try and do this as best as I can. So we got a square club face. Now, if I bow my wrist, there's bowing. Club face is still squared. If I cup my wrist, there is cupping. Club face is still squared. So the bowing and cupping doesn't necessarily change the face angle. It is de-lofting and adding loft. It's the motion of your hands directly that opens and closes the club face. Now, I can see why he would say that cupping can also cause you to roll the hands as you cup, and I've seen that. So this cupping doesn't necessarily force the roll of the hand, but it is more comfortable when you cup it that it does roll and open more. So keep that in mind, and also keep this in mind. If you look at the top position of tour pros, and I know we're not tour pros, but you have to look at the best in the world too to see how they hit the golf ball. We see beautiful ball strikers with cup wrists. We see beautiful ball strikers with bowed wrists. So there's not one wrist angle that suits everybody. We're all so unique. And this is why I stopped doing swing tips like this, because I felt like I contradicted myself. I'm over here telling everybody not to follow these so much just for educational purposes, and I was out there writing articles, and so I stopped that all because I don't like this blanket over many, because you might do more damage than you're helping.
We're gonna do that is called twisting the grip, okay? So we can hold this club in front of us, we can twist it to the left to close the club face, or we can twist it to the right to open the club face. And if you look, when I twist it right, my left wrist goes into extension.
So you heard what he said, right? It is twisting the wrists, not bowing or cupping, not just de-lofts and add lofts, it's twisting. Now sometimes when we twist, some people bow, sometimes when we twist, some people cup, but it's not the actual cupping and bowing, it's the twisting that opens and closes the club face.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make some swings, some practice swings, where we get to the top, we twist this grip to the right, and we swing down. Now this club face is closed. Up to the top, twist this grip, shuts the face, boom. So I'm gonna hit one, slow speed, really trying to twist that grip and over exaggerate it. The golf ball will not go right if you do this, okay? So slightly stronger grip, twist it at the top. And that is very good. About a 1 yard draw. So I'll take that all day. So guys, to recap, we gotta do those drills. We gotta get the club path right first. Once we get the club path more right, we can then start to work on getting the club face more closed. If you put all these things together, you're gonna eliminate your slice, start to hit draws, gain more distance, and shoot lower scores. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you
like, subscribe,
comment, and
Performance
subscribe below.
Golf. But remember, when you watch these type of things, keep an open mind and just for educational purposes, don't really apply it to yourself. But this might be a good idea to learn more about cause and effect. So let's take a look at another one. Okay, here's the next one from Performance Golf again. And keep in mind, I just found these by typing in Google how to fix a slice. So these are the top rankers. So let's just take a listen and see what Eric has.
Eric Cogorno here with Performance Golf Zone. Today's video is on how to fix the slice with your driver. Now our goal in this video is to fix that slice for you basically immediately. I need you guys to start to understand what causes that slice and how to fix it right off the bat. Now we have some 15-shot fixes for this slice. I want you guys fixing that slice by this weekend. I'm talking practice this for a full week. Slice is gone by this weekend.
All right, let's take a look and see.
I need you to understand first what causes the slice before we go on and how to fix it. Now, I see a lot of golfers in person who struggle with the slice. Certainly we work with a lot of slicers, and a lot of people come in and they come in with all kinds of different reasons as to why they slice the ball, and no one emphasizes the most important part, which is that the club face is open to the path. You need to understand that first. You don't hit a slice because you're too far over the top. You don't hit a slice because you hang back on your right foot. You don't hit a slice because your ball position's off or your setup's off. You hit a slice because your club face is open to the path. That is the
Okay, bottom line, it's true. Club face open to path will always give you a slice. But what he said before that is you don't hit a slice because your ball position. You don't hit a slice because you're going to... That's not true as well, because that could be the cause of the club face being open at impact. But the thing I like what he said in the beginning is he sees many reasons for a slice. So already off to a good start.
Most important part of this or any video you're going to watch on how to fix your slice, you have to understand and believe that part first. In order for us to fix that slice and fix it quick, we have to fix the face first. Now, how do we do that? When I take my normal setup, I need to ensure that my grip is on the club at least neutral to slightly strong. We cannot be trying to fix a slice if I have my grip on here in a weak position. If my left hand grip is overly weak, if my right hand grip is overly weak, and we have other videos on the grip and there's plenty out to refer to those, but we need to have that grip go from a weak to a neutral or a strong position. You can play golf with a weak grip, but not if we're trying to fix the slice pattern. If you have a weaker grip, I need you to get those hands turned clockwise on that club, right? From face on, I want to see some of that logo of the back hand. I want to see some of those knuckles. I want that V pointing at my right shoulder. I need my right hand getting in here at or underneath here a little bit on the grip. I can't have my right hand more on top in this fashion. It's not going to work for us. Need my right hand underneath. Again, I want that V on my right hand at or towards my right shoulder. Need a stronger grip pattern.
So I would have liked to see him explain why he doesn't want the hand over, because what that typically does is it starts to mess with your shoulder tilting and your shoulder alignment. When your right hand goes over, you straighten out your shoulder tilt, and typically you open to the target, which will cause a path issue. I don't really buy the fact that you can hit a hook with a weaker grip, because when I first started playing this game, I had a very weak grip and I would rope hook the golf ball because I had very active hands. So in order for me to stop hooking, I actually had to strengthen my grip and learn how to hold my hands a little bit softer. So every case is so unique. And again, that's just the one issue I have with all these tip videos out there, is they're trying to address a problem that is so unique to the individual that is virtually impossible. This again might affect 1 or 2 out of 10 people for the positive. It might hurt 1 or 2 people out of 10 for the severe negative, and it might not do much for the others in between, and it might also cause some other issues in relation with their body, because remember, body and grip always work in unison.
That can help ensure the beginning parts of closing a club face. That's non-negotiable. If you're watching this video and you've struggled with a slice for years on end, you can't play golf with that weak grip. We have to get the grip part number 1. Now, part number 2, again, fixing the club face. I need to make sure that the club face stays square to slightly closed at 2 key checkpoints. Number 1 is during the takeaway. I need you guys to get that club face tilted slightly down towards the ground, or even all the way towards the ground. Is that too shut? Absolutely it is. For you who hits a slice, you need two shot. We have to close the club face down so we can get rid of that shot. So I want to get a normal setup. I want to take my takeaway. I want to start to feel my left hand point down towards the ground. My logo is pointing down towards the ground. Notice how that twists that club face shut here. I want to see that at this checkpoint. I also, in the follow through, want to see the same checkpoints. I want to see that the club face is tilted down towards the ground. The back of my left hand is down towards the ground. Is that an exaggeration? And does that close the club face? Absolutely it does. That's the entire point here. If I can get my grip strong enough, if I can keep my face slightly closed to square on this side, halfway back, and slightly close to square halfway through, my club face is going to be shut for sure, and I can start to curve balls to the left. And that brings me to my next key point. To get rid of the slice, we just talked about, we need to fix the face, but your brain also needs to see a different shot pattern, okay? We're not looking to go...
You know what I find interesting about that is, here's Eric who promotes closing the club face down, where we watched Hank Haney who promotes opening the club face to reduce a slice. So we have two opposing fundamentals here, and if I'm a viewer, if I'm brand new to golf and I happen to click on his, I'd be starting to work with closing the club face here. But if I happen to click on Haney, I'd be working with the club face opening. So there's two completely different motions here. So bottom line is, you've got to go get a lesson from a coach in person so they can analyze your motions. The one fear I have is, by listening to this, he'd like you to close the club face down, but what about the rotation? Because if you just start your swing and you turn and tilt correctly, that club face is going to remain neutral to your spine angle. Now, if you start manipulating that club head to close it, you're going to be closed at the top. How are you going to now close it again at impact like you want you to? So at some point, the hands have to open up. So I just fear that this is going to lead to many rope hooks and not create a consistent enough motion.
Looking to go from slice to right down the middle on ball number one. On ball number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, you need to start to see something different, which is the golf ball hooking to the left. We want to see it going hard to the left in the beginning for two reasons. One, you need to do these pieces and your brain needs to be convinced that they're going to work when you go play when you're on the golf course. We need to see that what I just felt there gave me something different. That's part number one.
Okay, so his theory is we want to take a motion and exaggerate it. So I understand now why he wants you to close the club face on the way back and also feel like you're closing on the way through, to give you almost a rope hook to explain to your body, okay, this will cause the ball to go the other way. So it makes a little bit more sense.
Part number two is, once we get this club face closed and the ball's curving to the left, now I have a lot of motivation. I'm going to be able to start to fix that downswing path, right? Obviously, a lot of you guys during the downswing with that face open start to get this outside in swing path, and that doesn't do any good for us. We hit it shorter that way, the ball curves even more, and I can't fix that though, and this is important too. You are not going to fix your over-the-top pattern until you fix club face. If you're someone who has a slice and you've been trying to fix your over-the-top forever and it didn't work.
So that's where we differ in opinions, because you have to realize, why are you swinging it over the top? What is wrong with your body positioning? Lack of turn, too much turn, disconnection. So you can work on closing the club face all day long, but you'll never change the path of the club unless you change your body positioning. So that's where we're kind of starting to disagree here.
It's because your face was too open, and it's never going to work that way. If I have an open club face, my face is pointed to the right of the target, the only way I can get that club face pointed at the target and hit a functional golf shot is by swinging outside in. If I made a good path, swung inside with my face open, the ball's going to go 100 yards to the right. So now that our face is going to get shot, now you can work all those things you did before that were probably good, but it wouldn't work because of your club face. Now I can start to work that path inside out and straighten out the golf ball. But first, before we do that, we need to fix the face. We need to hit some shots to the left on purpose. This is...
Okay, so in a nutshell, he wants you to shut the club face down at impact, and then he will keep that face shut down at impact, and then he is hoping that your body will learn to adjust the path. Now that once your hands are used to shutting the club face, then you can work on the motion so your path can swing more right to negate that club shutting down, which will kind of straighten things out. But again, how? Like, how is somebody supposed to do this on the range without understanding why their body's not rotating correctly and why it's inefficient in the first place?
how you fix your driver. You get rid of that slice with your driver. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate an exaggerated version. I take my normal setup first, I get my grip on here, and I want my grip to be stronger than normal. So from my face-on perspective, my left hand is turned towards the camera. You can see more logo. Stronger grip than normal. I'm gonna get the face shut down going back and get it shut down going through, and I wanna hit it left on purpose. Let's give that one a shot. Grip is strong, closed, closed, hook on purpose. Good, and that's a low.
I guarantee you that he did not close his club face. And you know what? I wasn't going to download this, but I think I have to now. I'll be right back. All right, so let's take a look at Eric on the left side. I downloaded this. I took that extra 10 minutes just for you guys, but let's take a look. As we take that club back, we can see right at this point, you can see that club is opening up. So there is his face angle. So it is not close to his spine. It is actually open to his spine. So that club, he wants you to keep that club down like this. So he is off about 90 degrees. When he gets to the top of the swing, you can see in this position here, there's the club again. So you can see how much he did open it in the first part of the swing. So he doesn't really necessarily close the club on the way back like he wants you to do. So this is why I caution you, because feel isn't real. And here you have somebody who's explaining the motions, and you would at least expect him to duplicate what is he explaining, but he almost does the exact opposite. So keep that in mind. Let's get back to the video.
Good, and that's a low hook there to the left. It's exactly what I want to see. And I want to do that multiple times. I want my brain to see that a lot. And now as
Okay, so he had a low hook, but he did not close a club face like he wanted you to do it. So there's a little misconception here going on. Feel versus real, I understand all that, but it's just a little bit misleading.
Continue to practice. After I do that for a little bit, you know, I'm going to hit as many shots as needed, right? You should literally, if you do it correct, I'm talking about you're fixing your slice in one golf ball. If you fix your face, it takes one swing and nothing else. Now, part number two is now I take that same feel, but I'm going to get my path going more neutral, and now I can hit a golf ball that's going to go straight out there. I don't need to hit it left forever, just enough to give me motivation to swing from the inside. So now instead of me making a swing, grip strong, close down, trying to hit a hook on purpose, I want to make a swing where I do the same piece and I hit a golf ball dead straight with that. So that would be the next part of your training, okay? Fix the club face first. You can literally fix your slice in one golf swing.
Okay, the title of the video is How to Fix a Slice with a Driver, parentheses, so simple. I instruct for a living. I understand what he's trying to say, deciphering a little bit here and there, but if I'm a brand new golfer, I don't even understand the language he's using. What's inside out? What's path right? What's path left? What's turning over? So it's a little bit confusing for a newer golfer. Now, if I was playing for a while, I would kind of understand what he's talking about. But remember, most of our golfers that look up this stuff do not work with a pro, don't understand the lingo, and are using this as like the Bible. So again, do I favor these? I think they're better than nothing, but I wouldn't go ahead and start utilizing this stuff because we can just sit here and look up many ways to cure a slice, and they're probably going to contradict each other, just as we saw Hank Haney and this gentleman. So what do you think in the comments below? Is this entertaining for you? If not, let me know and we'll just go back to swing analysis. But I just think it's kind of different and a little bit of break from analysis. But we'll be back on Sunday with your swings. Send me your videos to the email down below. But I hope you had a good day. Hope you voted. But I'll see you guys next time. Fairways and greens.